There are two types of company leaders: those who get paid whether the business wins or loses, and those whose entire life revolves around their business. Sometimes, for generations, they own 50%, 67%, even 78% of a company. That changes everything. Charlie Munger had a very wise rule: show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome. And when someone owns 50% or more of a business, their incentive is exactly the same as yours. Today we are looking at three very different businesses where that is exactly the case. And by the end you will know why this type of company deserves a serious place in any long-term portfolio. Ternium is one of the largest steel producers in Latin America, with operations across Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, and beyond. It is controlled by the Rocca family through the holding structure called Rocca and Partners. They own 78.1% of the company. No outside investors can challenge them. In every practical sense, it is a private family business that also happens to be listed on a stock exchange. The 10-year return is 290%. That is a nice result for a steel company. But when we look at the stock price graph, we immediately see something important. This is a deeply cyclical business. Two clear boom and bust cycles in 10 years. So we should use all the help we can to understand this cyclical business a bit better. Let's go to Forecaster and its AI agent, and let's look at future expectations. Here we can read that investors appear to expect Ternium to recover over the next 12 to 24 months, helped by stronger steel margins, lower input costs, Mexico-Brazil expansion, and a still solid balance sheet. We can also read that overall the market is pricing in a moderate recovery, not perfection. So they are trying to improve the business on all fronts: margins, costs, and growth. That is a reason for a recent spike in price. And even though return on invested capital is 10.6%, which is fine, net profit margin is just 3.8%. Steel is a commodity business with thin margins, and that shows up here. No wonder they need to focus on improving them. But free cash flow has gone negative in 2025. That is the real concern here. The dividend yield is 4.6%, so that is great, but the payout ratio is 92.5%. Almost all earnings are being paid out. If earnings fall, that dividend is at serious risk. Now, when it comes to valuation, PE ratio is 16.5, not expensive for a steel company. The average fair value across our three scenarios after applying a 30% margin of safety is $62. The current price is $48. That is a potential upside of around 29%. That is very interesting. The Rocca family have managed this business across generations and have every incentive to protect long-term value. At the same time, the valuation looks very interesting. But this is a commodity business with thin margins, negative free cash flow, and a dividend that looks stretched. The risks are real, but they are reflected in the price. Danaos is one of the world's largest container ship owners, leasing its fleet to major shipping lines under long-term charter agreements. The company does not operate the ships itself, it just owns and rents them out. Simple and predictable. Who controls it? One person, John Kaustas. He owns 53.8% of shares. No dynasty, no holding structure. Just one man who built a major shipping company and kept the control. The 5-year return is 508%. That is extraordinary. But the 10-year return is only 61%, and that tells the real story. Danaos went through a catastrophic period. The stock collapsed from $70 in 2015 all the way to around $9 in 2019, a loss of nearly 85%. The 5-year number looks brilliant because it starts at the bottom, and that is another highly cyclical business. Net profit margin is 56.3%. When you just own ships and lease them out, margins can be exceptional. But the most impressive chart on the dashboard is net debt. It was $3.3 billion in 2015. By 2023, it was essentially zero. The company went from drowning in debt to basically debt-free in under 10 years. It now takes just half a year to pay off all remaining debt with its free cash flow. And the share count tells a similar story. During the distressed years, Danaos issued huge amounts of new shares, going from 8 million all the way to 23 million. Since 2020, they have been consistently buying them back. A company that went from heavy dilution to active buybacks is a very different business today. The problem is free cash flow. It was $860 million in 2022 during the shipping boom, then nearly zero in 2024. Let's try to understand it a bit better. When we go to Forecaster and Fundamentals, we can see that even though free cash flow tanked in 2024, net income and sales stayed the same. Also, the profit margins, return on equity or debt to equity did not change. What it tells us is that this was a huge investment into fleet expansion by Danaos, not a business problem. The best way to see it is to look at operating cash flow. So basically the actual cash a company generates from running its normal business operations. When we go to the financial statements, cash flow, and down here we have operating cash flow. And we can clearly see that it did not go down in 2024. It actually went up. So this free cash flow drop is really not something we should worry about. Now let's see what is the market pricing Danaos at right now. PE ratio is just 4.4. That is very interesting. The stock is trading about 7.9% below the average fair value with margin of safety, and only one scenario is in the red, when the growth rate is based on operating cash flow growth. And also here it is red only when we apply the margin of safety. Danaos is a great turnaround story. The debt reduction is impressive. Kaustas has run this through a near collapse and out to the other side, and the valuation is cheap. But shipping rates are cyclical and almost impossible to predict. When rates are good, this company prints money. When they aren't, free cash flow disappears. It is cheap, but cheap for a reason. Hermès has been in the same family for 180 years. The descendants of founder Thierry Hermès control 67.3% of the company, mainly through a family partnership called H51, a legal structure designed specifically to ensure no outsider can ever buy in. LVMH tried around 2010 and was completely blocked. When you build a structure specifically to stop the world's largest luxury conglomerate from getting a foothold, you are serious about staying independent. 10-year return is 446%. If you invested $1,000 a decade ago, it would be worth around $5,460 today. But unlike the other two companies, the stock price graph shows no crashes, no cyclical collapses, just a smooth, consistent upward curve from roughly $34 in 2015 to around $250 in 2025. Return on invested capital is 43.9%, and we want to see it above 10%. Hermès is operating at more than 4 times that threshold. Net profit margin is 29%. For a company selling physical goods, that is an extraordinary number. And the net debt graph is one of the most impressive things on this dashboard. Hermès has had more cash than debt every single year since 2015. The company is essentially printing cash and accumulating it. Let's go to Forecaster to understand the growth story. If we open the revenue graph, we can see it is a straight line up. Only in 2020, during COVID, we see a slight drop. When it comes to net income, it is even better. It basically exploded from 2021. For 3 years, it was like a tsunami wave. Absolutely incredible. Now, if you would like to analyze basically any company in the market with all this data, screeners, rankings, and the help of Forecaster's AI agent, then definitely use the link below, and by applying a code BOLD10 at the checkout, you will get 10% off your subscription. Now, let's get back to Hermès. Dividend growth over 5 years is 34.4% annually. Dividends have nearly tripled in 5 years. It is an exceptional company on so many levels. But here is where it gets complicated. The PE is 37.6. The average fair value across our 3 scenarios after applying a 30% margin of safety is $121. The current price is $188, meaning the stock is trading around 35.5% above that average. Hermès is the best business of the 3 by a wide margin. The return on invested capital, the consistent growth, the $11.5 billion in net cash, the 180 years of family stewardship. These are genuinely rare qualities. But the market knows it, and the price reflects every bit of it. At $188 per share, you are paying a premium. Whether the quality justifies that premium is a question every investor has to answer for themselves.